Speaking of orthographic views, in Maya, you change them using this panel button by selecting either perspective or cameras, or these orthographic views like bottom, or you have the quad panel where you can change each panel however you like. In Max, you have the same. You change them by pressing these buttons or by using your shortcuts, but mine are set up custom now. Just like in Blender. So while in Blender, you change them either by using your numpad, by pressing 1, 3, 7, or 5 to change back to perspective view. So 5 toggles perspective and orthographic. The other numbers control the camera regardless of the position you're in. So you can navigate the camera in a stepped mode by using 2, 4, 8, and 6. If you press 1, you're in front. If you press Control 1, you're in the back. Control always flips the number you're on. So if I'm on top by pressing 7, if I press Control 7, I'm on the bottom. If I press 9, it always flips the view I'm looking at. So if I press 3, for example, and I press 9 after it, then I'm looking at left, and I press 9 again. Sorry. So if I press 9 again, it flips to the right. If I press 9 again, it flips to the left, and so on. You can also control the camera by using these buttons here. If this isn't visible, it means that this show gizmo icon is toggled off and it's gray. It should be blue for this to be visible. Or you can control it by Alt middle click dragging, as I've shown before. If you've done it by accident, on the left here it will always say which view you're in and what type of view. You can also use these icons on the side. If you press this little grid icon, it does what the numpad 5 does. So it also says if you hover over it, shortcut numpad 5, and so on. The camera is numpad 0, by the way. Or you can click this icon. This pans and this zooms. These are quite useful if you don't like using your keyboard and you have a pen display. You can just click on them. If you click the little arrow icon here, you will see that these buttons are also toggleable, so you can hide these buttons even if this is blue. So navigation from here could be toggled off if you wanted to. So in Blender you can't customize your quad view as you do in Maya and Max. So even if I try to press my numpad and change these cameras by these buttons or anything, I can't change whatever it says here. So I can't change these quad views which are static, but you can drag any corner of any of these menus and make your own custom UI and cameras however you see fit, even like this. And this is super useful. So this is how you change each view to your heart's content, but you can't close them instantly like you do in Max. So if you want to close them, you have to hover over the corner, click and drag towards the one you want to close it, and then that one disappears. Or you can click and drag even back towards the one you dragged from. So you can choose which one goes away. The one that is darker will be closed. And now you can resume using just one viewport. You also press Control Space to maximize the view like an export mode. and you press control space again, let's say back to previous. In Maya, if you press control space, you go to this full screen mode, right? And in Max, it's the same. In Maya, you customize your UI based on windows that you can rip off from these menus, or by opening them and dragging them and dropping them on top of the viewport or anywhere over the UI that you want them. Example, I'll put my UV editor here and drag my UV toolkit to this bar so I can have it and close it whenever I want to. I can also go to panels and panel editor. It will open this little window with pre-made layouts, and if I press new layout, I can save it, and I can even add it to shelf. In Max, sadly, I can't customize anything like I do in Maya or Blender outside of choosing what camera or view to have in these small windows. I can, of course, drag the outliner and other utility windows that I have in my UI and save them as a custom UI setup. But for example, I can't have my UV editor window like I can in Maya or Blender. For example, I have this from Houdini, I will close it. But for the UV editor, I have to put a modifier on, press UV editor, drag my window across my screen, and I don't know, put it somewhere like Windows likes it, and have it at the same time hovering over my other windows. But this is just a downside of Max. In Blender, I can create custom UIs by pressing this add workspace button, duplicating whichever I'm in, or just choosing one from this list. Even if I choose this one, I'll modify it by closing all the windows I don't want or need. I'll drag these in. It will usually take up either the width or the height of the window I drag it in. So now I have this view here, and I'll create any window I need. I want, for example, the UV editor, which I will split into two and use this as a camera view. And I'll even put my outliner here like this, and I will drag it down, and it will take away from the UV editor window. And see that I did that by mistake. If that happens, just click and drag towards another window and to the window next to the corner you drag from, and it will go away. I can close these panels, which I don't like, and save this setup by renaming it and leaving it there. It will save with my project. Now, if you need this feature to switch fast between Windows and Blender, there's not really any other option than customizing your UI and switching between them real fast, because Blender is made to navigate your view types really quickly using the numpad or these buttons. So even while modeling, just by dragging your mouse, you can change windows really quickly. And if you need to see any of them at the same time, you can just quickly modify and leave it like that.